Oh, that should be about it. I'm Alan Jensud. I'm about to do a head gasket on a 2.5 Jeep Wrangler. Well, can you explain why I'm doing it? I do not have a blown head gasket, but I need head work done. It's on the 2.5, like I said before, so it's the smaller engine, which in my mind sounds like a popcorn machine since the day I had it. I've had it for over 6 years now. You know what Jeep stands for? Is just empty every pocket. But these little 4-cylinders aren't bad. One of the main reasons that I'm thinking the head is the problem. I lost all my power here, about a year ago and a little bit before that, but it's been slowly declining. And yes, I know there is a small lift in it. It's only 2.5 inches. It does have these 31. Yes, there's 31s on a 4-banger. I wouldn't go any bigger than 33. It just has problems going up hills. It has problems with even accelerating. I mean, a Geo Metro could kick my ass any day. But let alone Jeeps are not made for speed. But they should go up a hill. Little things about the Jeep. I know it's dark as heck. I'll probably edit this out. Rip out the carpet. Percolined it. A little bit of speaker system, mostly Pioneer. But that's another day for other stuff. But on this is the reason why I'm trying to do this video. It's going to be totally on the head, ripping it and removing it. I have personally I have not done it ever. I've never ripped off a head. So maybe you just can see me screw up, see me fuck up, I don't know. But I have ripped valve covers and manifold and everything else off. But here's a few things I have done to it. I do, about 2 years ago, let's see if I can get a better picture. This is all GoPro too, so it's kind of crappy. There's the oil pressure sending unit, oil pressure unit. That blew out here 2 years ago and poured oil all over the place. I shut it off in time before it drained all the oil. And then you shove a piece of wood in there and just try to get back home. I did replace it. It still works again, but nothing great. I don't know. That little bit of oil had drained out, and I did ride on it for about 10-15 minutes. Baby, that didn't like it. But here's another one. From the factory, my YJ did not come with an exhaust. Let me go get the light here. Of course, it always gets wrapped around. My YJ did not come with an exhaust and intake manifold gasket. I put one in there here last year. I had a little bit of leak past it. You could hear it. It was kind of a pain. I thought that was maybe that's why I didn't have any back pressure, why I lost some power. So I ripped it off, put it on there, and it shut it up. It quieted it way down. But now it's back where it's noisy again, and I was like, all right, let's go put exhaust on it. So I put a big massive muffler on it. It didn't do anything. So it's noisy, it's clicky, it sounds like a popcorn machine. So my next thing is maybe I screwed up a valve, an exhaust valve. Also, here's another one. I will be using a Haynes manual. I did a compression test, and this is with it cold. This is probably the wrong, yes, that's the wrong numbering. Front 100, 100, 110, 118. So, I mean, that's kind of low compression in my mind for a little 4-banger, especially with 18 pounds difference from the back to the front. So I'm kind of pointing on maybe those valves or these two are bad. We'll have to try. But, like I said before, it's in the Haynes repair manual I'm going to be using. Mine's a 95 YJ, the basic model. It's in Chapter 2, Part B. And most people just turn right to right to, and it says cylinder head removal. Well, it refers you back a million times how to take everything else off right in the beginning of the manual, right in the beginning of the chapter. So I stick with just beginning and read through it. It's good shitter material. That's what I call it. But it gives you a general knowledge of all these weird little bolts and screws and all that crap. Tells you the valve and this. Just another big one. I have not seen that. And also the rods. I'm using a milk carton. I've seen it done on YouTube a lot. I'm going to try it. Because I like losing shit and fucking crap up. But here's a few other ones. You know, it's pretty familiar. Oops, one too many cam. That's too far. But for the cylinder head bolts, I will be getting all new bolts. They're about right around $20. I'll be using a Felpro gasket set, which I have no idea what that will be. My valve job, I have no idea what it will be. But we'll see where it goes, because I need this to run in the winter. The only other problem I have is why you're like, oh, if you're spending a good amount of money, why go and dump it into the engine? You're going to rip out. Well, here's a 4.0. I ripped out the Cherokee. It's a 91. It's high mileage, but it ran when I ripped it out. I got it for $200. That's going to be going in there, but that needs a stroker and everything else, and I don't have $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 to blow on an engine and all that. I'm going to say, if some people are like, oh, that much money, no, well, okay, then convert all the wiring from a 4-cylinder to a 6, which some will say, oh, it's just 2 fuel injectors. Yeah. Okay, and I'll get a new valence, because the Cherokee I ripped out doesn't have it. Rebuild that and stroke it, because I don't know how to do that. I'll probably get that done at a shop. I will rip the AC off. AC is for babies. Just enjoy. It's a Jeep. Rip off the frickin' top. Really. But then also fitting it. There's another big ones in there. You'll be all the brackets will be maintained and moved. Not maintained, excuse me. Will be adjusted. I'm still looking for new ones to put in there. It'll be interesting, but that's another day. Right now I just need this to get to working. So before I go, I'm gonna start ripping everything off here. Belt cover, hoses. I can possibly get at. Here's another one everyone goes and whines about. Over all these connectors. Everyone's like, oh, you gotta label them. Well, you know, I mean, you can retard proof everything, but when you work on it yourself, you don't gotta retard proof everything. I mean, unless you're retarded. You know, I feel for you there, but you know, there's a little bit. You know, like the hose. I mean, come on, you know it's gonna be there. You know that's as far as it goes. You have a video of it, or take a picture like I'll be doing soon. So I'll start the video back up when I rip the valve cover off, and I'm going to get all the air filters, and I don't have AC on this. So I'm going to try to gut everything and throw it to the side, and I'll be labeling everything with a Sharpie. I'm the only one looking at it. But other than that, I'll see you in an hour. Alright, it's been about only half an hour, and I drained the antifreeze. I just put a new radiator in this thing last year, too. That was from the escrow check. Drained that, so that was awesome, pouring brand new antifreeze out. Ripped off all the connectors, all the plugs, starting to. Oops, a few more. Almost got it down to actually ripping off something worthwhile. Now, this had a little cover on it, so I was going to show everyone. You might not, if you haven't worked on it, then you might be scared. But this actually goes on here with these little clips. It's easy just by hand. You can just move it and it'll pop right off. This is under here. So you can pop that off very easily. Also, this part. You know, and it took me a while to learn what. I didn't want to break it, but guess what you can do. Ta-da! Now you can rip that bracket off and throw it off, and this is all disconnected. Here's another good part that I ripped these off before. If you can see that in your fuel filters, or they actually move still, you should be very happy. Don't forget about this guy. Okay, don't forget. This bolt right here holds this together. This weird for my power steering. The only thing you gotta do, I don't know if this is gonna be any good video or not. You gotta pop it off to the side. That's all that holds that thing, and you can just pull it right out like a normal electrical plug. And that's all that holds that one. There's just a little plug right there, you know, your normal clip. When you do pull these out, I know it's really easy just to grab this and yank them as hard as you fucking can. Get a screwdriver, a handy dandy bent one that I probably messed up. Great curve. And get behind it, twist it with your arm. I'm holding the camera. Pull it out. It saves you a headache. I did mess up one down there, but it's not the crimp. It's just the holder for it. So it's gonna be a duct tape or a little bit of a fix. Map sensor ripped out. Now I'm gonna get this off. I'm gonna check all these hoses too. I gotta rip. Air filter ripped off. This other side I didn't do too much. Oh, here it is. I'll show you this too. Mark your spark plugs. 4, 3, 2, 1. I just do Sharpie and do them right on the boot. I mean, just do it. I put new spark plugs in this and plugs in a new cap and rotor here a while back. Here's one of my oopsies. I lost a bolt, so that just worked. I'll get new ones for everything now that I'm digging into it. With this, it's almost ripped out. I gotta go dig a little bit there, and there's a few over here I can probably rip. But it's getting close. You don't need to rip awfully too much. When I rip the plugs off, this will actually get out of the way. The less stuff you rip off, the better. Being an electrician has told me less stuff is better to rip off because you always have the chance of breaking it. No matter what, you will break it. It keeps coming on and off, on and off. So, oh, and this is how much antifreeze I only got out of the radiator. It's mixed with oil. It was antifreeze. I use it for my oil pan too. So, it says a guide if you do not have an oil pan. You know how much you actually need. That was my radiator. Alright. So on to the valve cover and I'll be back. There's another tidbit. Another weird valve here I found. So I ripped off all those. They're pretty easy. Nothing really special. But this one, right there, it's kind of a weird, you really don't know what the heck to do to it. It's from the bottom. It does not rip apart from the end. The bottom one kind of weird. What else did I rip off quick? That's it. This one's gone, this one's gone. Alright, fuel and that bar, I'm guessing. Right. We got the fuel rail off. Oops, sorry, lights all fucked up. A little dirty. I gotta clean those out. That was pretty amazing. I thought I must have didn't injector seals. Oopsie. But they're in there pretty good. You rip these two bolts off that house your ones for the bracket for your throttle. The other one holds another little connector. They sit like this, and they go in there and hold it on, and you put your bracket on, and then there's another little bolt on top. These were 1/2 inch. These were 10. Very different. I'm a big metric guy. You know, shoot, boo on me, whatever. I like my little metric vehicles. It was pretty easy to rip off. I like doing this instead of ripping every single one off. I mean, you need to rip it off anyway. But guess what? I don't have to label shit. Another cool thing. Just be careful with it. Worst case scenario, I do, and you just go on label 1, 2 with the wires. But I mean, no big deal. Alright. Down almost to everything now. Fuel rail. I decided, there's that 1 or 2 wires I come across and get the other side of the engine. I found out it would just be better to throw it all on the side, but battery, high ability to short out, high ability to ruin your day. I did it anyway. I gotta tie that up so when I do the valve, or I do rip off the head, I can clean it. You know, it'll be a little bit easier to put on. That one wire, this guy going down is mystery. she's going forever. So ripped off the alternator, 2 bolts. I think they're 15. I ripped those 2. That's what the 17 belt is. It was new about 4 years ago. Another stupid thing that Jeep did. They are not the greatest belt design. There's actually no like tensioner on this thing. So it just goes by one little pulley to kind of hang on to it. And you have to adjust it. This is the idler pulley, but it doesn't actually move. It doesn't do anything. Your power steering pump actually adjusts. It swings in and out. So I have played with it for so fucking long. I've tightened it so hard that it squeals. I've loosened it, it squeals. I think you just gotta tighten it to fucking hell and let it squeal until it finds itself stretched, or I don't know. Any belt guys, please, that would be helpful. It doesn't do it anymore, but whatever. So now I'm down to the head. I'm gonna rip off the intake. Everything's ripped off of there. And the exhaust. I'm gonna rip off the water pump. And then the real fun begins. Back again. Valve cover off. Exhaust manifold. Power steering pump is a real twat to get off the intake. So everything else is off now, and now to rip off the rockers. Alright, and that's ripped all the way down. Actually, my cylinders look pretty good for the age. Things though, it's got over 100,000 on it, so. Then, here's the head. I don't know what the exhaust valve, well, that's all burnt to hell, each one. My spark plugs were new last year. Sure. But send her off, and we'll see when we get her back. Probably bring her in there tomorrow.